Hi everyone, myself Dr.S.Dhivya, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce with Computer Application, Dr.S.N.S. College of Arts and Science, Autonomous. So in this session, the topic we are going to cover is corporate veil. As the company is a separate legal entity, it has been provided with a veil compared to the individuals who are managing the company. But if the court feels that such veil has to be used for any wrong purpose, the court lift the corporate veil and make the individual liable for such act which they should not have been done or doing in the name of the company. So it is a separate legal entity. The corporate veil should not be used as of it. If they are, they should not use it in a wrong way. So if they are use it in the wrong purpose, the individual person will be liable to the court. The corporate veil theory is a legal concept which separates the identity of the company from its members. Hence, the members are shielded from the liability arising out of the company action. Therefore, if the company incur debt or contravenes any law, then the member are not liable for those errors and enjoy corporate insulation. In simpler words, the shareholders are protected from the act of the company. If the companies are incur any debt or there are any controversies under any law, the member is not liable. The shareholder is the person, only they have to protect the company based on the Company Act. To determine the character of the companies, so it is a public interest. The piercing the corporate veil is that if the company is an enemy or the friend, the court need to understand the character of the company. The court adopt the test of the control. The court usually avoid their piercing the corporate veil unless the public interest is jeopardy. However, to ascertain if the company is an enemy company, the court may choose to do so to protect revenue or tax. In matter concerning evasion or circumvention of tax, duties, etc., the court might disregard the corporate entity. If trying to avoid a legal obligation, sometimes the member of a company can create another company, subsidiary company, to avoid certain legal obligation. In such cases, piercing the corporate veil allows the court to understand the real transaction. So the piercing the corporate veil, it protects the revenue of the tax and trying to avoid the legal obligation and determining the character of the company. Next, forming subsidiary to act as agent. Sometimes the basis of the formation of a company is to act as an agent or trustee of the member or any other company. In such cases, the company loses its individually in favor of its principal. Also, the principal is liable for the act of such a company. A company formed for fraud or improper conduct or to defeat the law. In cases where a company is formed for some illegal or improper purpose like defeating the law, the court might decide to lift or pierce the corporate veil. So the forming subsidiaries is the principal is liable for the act of such company, and the company may be in any fraud or improper conduct or defeat, they are not following the law, the court might decide to lift or piercing the corporate veil. Circumstance to lift the corporate veil is under the Companies Act, which are based on fact of each case, the decisions are taken by the court based on the circumstance. Statutory circumstance for lifting the corporate veil. So, reduction in membership. If there is any circumstance arise for the corporating the veil, they can reduce the membership. less than 7 in public company and less than 2 in the private company. Failure to refund application money after the issues of the shares to the public, the company has to pay back the initial payment to the unsuccessful application. SEBI guidelines within they have to pay 130 days. If they fail to do so, the corporate veil can be lifted. Misdescriptions of company's name while signing a contract. If the company's name is not properly described, then the corporate veil can be lifted. Misrepresentation in the prospect. Dairy workers peak incident says the promoters, directors and every other person responsible in this matter can be held liable. Fraudulent conduct in the case of companies carried on with their intent to defraud the creditors, then the court may lift the corporate veil. Holding and subsidiary companies. The subsidiary has a distinct legal entity from the holding company other than in a few circumstances. So, if otherwise shown, the court may under the act lift the corporate veil of the subsidiary company. Thank you.